I'm from Texas. You can tell because my hair is very big. I was born that way. I was actually from Louisiana, and I get it from my mom, so it just worked out. This is my first time in Latvia, my third time to speak with NATO. I'm very honored to be back. And I work with businesses on social media for the past 11 years. I'm a writer and a speaker on social media, and so my specialty is social media for business, and that is what I know about, and that's what I'm going to be talking about now. Here are my top 4 lessons that businesses can share with government about social media. First, I want to talk to you about my theory on social media. I got really frustrated 10 years ago when I tried to talk to different businesses about how to do social media. How many of you are responsible for leading teams, or are you yourself creating social media content for your governments or organizations at all? You have to create social media content. Please raise your hand. How many of you feel brilliant on Monday and not so brilliant on Tuesday? Raise your hand. Okay. I think there has to be a repeatable system to create content. I think there are brilliant repeatable systems in sales for business or in customer service for business, like net promoter scores or sales systems that we know how to use. But in social media, there really wasn't. So I created something called the social media business equation, and this is what this is. By the way, I brought one book with me, so if you're really sweet and you come talk to me and you're nice and you're delightful and ask me a cool question, I will give you this book so I don't have to bring it back to the US. Otherwise, you could just like buy it or just Google it and look at it for free. And so this is what this is. If you're creating content, this is how you feel smart on Tuesday. When you're creating content, 20% of the time, I want you to put out information. Information is not just about you, right? You're not just talking about your government. You're not just talking about your organization. You're talking about what your people want, what they want to hear. Just like if you wanted to build a human relationship, you wouldn't just walk up to someone and just talk about you. People really wouldn't like you if you did that. They'd find you very annoying, right? You'd walk up to them and you'd tell them what they wanted to hear. So think about what your people want to hear and give them that information 20% of the time. You with me? Okay, 20% of the time, information. Next, entertainment. I understand you are serious people. I understand you are serious organizations. You are still funny. You are still people who have emotions. You are still people who have serious things to talk about. You still are humans that can make connections. So 20% of the time, entertainment. Entertainment is humor, human emotion, and connection, okay? So that content, 20% of the time, entails human emotion, connection, and controversy. Controversy doesn't mean always things that have to deal with life and death. Controversy can mean light things that people disagree on. All right, that's the next 20%. 40% of the time, the content is interaction. You notice how 40% of the time, that's the largest portion? That's because social media is a relationship. That means we have to ask people what they want. This is not broadcast. This is not a one-way relationship. This is a relationship between us where we ask people what they want, we ask people what they like, we ask people what they don't like, and we listen. There are things we can learn in social media that we've never been able to learn before, and we can take that information, we can change things from it, we can learn, we can grow. Sometimes people are just having a bad day, and there are things that we're just gonna hear that we have to move past. Sometimes there are things we can learn from, but we have to listen. And then last, convert to business. Yes, these are for businesses, but for you, convert means to ask for what we want, to ask for the next step that we have to move forward on, to move forward on whatever the next initiative is you're moving forward on in your project, to actually putting it out there on your social media. So this is the social media business equation. If you notice, 80% of the time you're giving, 20% of the time you're asking for what you want. I know that was very quick, but if you Google it, you can find it online. It's all over the place. Sit with me at lunch and we'll talk about it more, okay? Cool.
Did you know that Wendy's is serving roast? The roast of McDonald's, that is. If you didn't know about the beef by now, we'll update you. It all started in January of 2017. Someone tweeted Wendy's and asked for the location of the closest McDonald's. Wendy's response? A photo of a garbage can. Just one day before, someone else asked Wendy's for life advice. They wanted to know what to tell their friend after he was asked to go to McDonald's. Wendy's replied, "Find new friends." McDonald's has expressed no comments. They've only taken the beating, and it has been no match to the thousands upon thousands of retweets and likes on Twitter. A virtual food fight scream from a crowd in a cafeteria. You could say it was at an all-time low when McDonald's tweeted, "Today we've announced that by mid-2018, all quarter pounder burgers at the majority of our restaurants will be cooked with fresh beef." To which Wendy's replied, "So you'll still use frozen beef in most of your burgers in all of your restaurants?" Asking for a friend. Things had calmed down by summer, but just when we thought the war was over, Black Friday happened, and the beef was now fresher than ever. McDonald's allegedly made a mistake on Twitter, and later saved it by following up with, "When you tweet before your first cup of McCafe, nothing comes before coffee." Some people believed that this was a marketing stunt, but Wendy's wouldn't let it slide. When the tweets are as broken as the ice cream machine, they tweeted,
"Can I just get a caramel sundae and a vanilla ice cream cone, please?"
I'm sorry, ma'am, our ice cream machine is down.
McDonald's was left speechless, yet again. In a war among our people, we must be cautious of the vicious outcomes. But in the meantime, we want to know, are you Team Wendy's or Team McDonald's? Tweet us at Splash Media and let us know. I'm Anna from Splash Media. Thanks for watching.
When it comes to humor and controversy, I want you to keep topics light. When I talk about controversy, and controversy brings people together, I want the topics to be light. These topics were light. They were about beef being frozen or fresh, and they were about ice cream machines being broken, okay? Wendy's is a much smaller brand than McDonald's. I understand I'm talking about businesses, and I understand that a lot of times governments think that they can't do things like business. I think that there are times that you can. I think that there are times that you can be quippy. I think that there are times that you have to be careful, but you can use humor, and you can be human. I wanted to do this because I think that this is a video that my company did, and it was a video that was interesting, it was young, it was different, and it was inexpensive. And I think it was important to watch. So when you use controversy and when you use humor, the topics need to be light and they need to be carefully selected. By 2019, video will be over 80% of all internet traffic. Your organization should be doing video regularly. A very important lesson that government needs to learn just as much as business is those 6-minute videos that both business and government are using that are testimonial videos of people in suits that are very boring. Only your mom is watching those videos. Please stop doing those videos. They're very boring, okay? It's not something that just government's doing. Business is doing it too. Nobody's watching them. Stop doing that, okay? Can everybody agree with me on that? Thank you. They're terrible. Okay. You got to start doing video. You can do videos like a thought leadership show. We have a show called CMO Go Show. Why? Because we market stuff to CMOs. Guess what? They really like to come on a show and talk about the things that they're doing. And when they're sitting there talking about what they're doing, we get to have a conversation with them, and then sometimes they like to spend money with us. It's really genius, right? Okay? This is a good way to have conversations with people that you want to talk to and learn from them, and maybe you can have a conversation that can lead to something that you want to accomplish with them. You can have shows where, let's say you don't have a large budget for something particular you want to do. You can turn that into a Facebook Live or a video podcast. Let's say you don't have budget to do something very big on a broadcast show. You can just do something that is strictly online. Let's say you have lots of money and you can do a big production. That's wonderful. Let's say you have very little money. You can go straight to video podcast or just a straight podcast. KFC has their slogan, which is 11 herbs and spices. On Twitter, a guy discovered that KFC was just following 5 people. 11 herbs and spices. I need time to process this. Those 11 herbs and spices, they were following 5 Spice Girls and 6 guys named Herb, right? That's who they were following, and this one guy discovered it. And once he discovered it, KFC actually reached out to him and made a portrait that they shipped to him of him on the back of the Colonel, and shipped this portrait that he now has hanging on his wall, right? So this actual portrait of the guy, and he hung it on his wall. And the reason I wanted to show this to you is I think that a lot of times we forget that people online are actually real people in life. So I like KFC. I think it's an interesting brand, and I have a large Twitter following. A lot of times, I know this is interesting, but I'm considered an influencer. People have given me cars and trips and clothes because I have 120,000 Twitter followers. And KFC actually sent me a Valentine. I got scratch and sniff chicken scented Valentine cards from KFC. It was very romantic. They were delicious, so I should have brought some so you could have smelled them. But here's a picture of them. They were delicious smelling. And because I had so many followers, I posted on there. And so they got this exposure to all these people. But it was tactical, right? I could feel it, I could smell it. And I'm a real person, so I shared that. But we forget that people are fascinated by crossing digital and real life. So what I want you to do is to meet at the intersection of real life and digital life, right? These are still real people, and people are amazed when you take something online and you take something in real life and you cross them with each other. And people in government and people and things in business to business or organizations forget to do that. And you have an opportunity to do it. And it can be something really small. It can be a very small gift. It can be a picture. It can be a thank you note that is handwritten, and people are shocked that you even make a phone call or reach out to them, and it means a lot to them. So don't forget that human touch, that human connection that you can intertwine with digital life. So in summary with this, and then we'll move on to political campaigning, use the social media business equation, use humor and controversy with light topics, use video even when budgets are limited, and meet at the intersection of real life and digital life. So really quickly, I am not a political expert. I had my staff pull, as business experts, a couple of examples of social media do's and don'ts for political campaigning. Do's, create your branding narrative. Here is Justin Trudeau celebrating the 50th anniversary of Festival Western. And he's talking this afternoon. He's enjoying the rest of the festival afternoon. He's supporting what his people are doing. He's being supportive of something positive and posting something that they're already posting and sharing something that they feel positive about. Here is Barack Obama thinking we're only one signature away from ending the war. Once again, aligning with a brand with your political platform. So another do. Do use social media to engage the voting public via supporters. So it's Hillary Clinton and hashtag I'm with her during a 2016 campaign trial, Huffington Post. Hillary Clinton details everything she ate on her 2016 campaign trail. You can always go right with what people eat. Everyone eats, so that's a good common denominator that people feel good about. Here is a don't, releasing names and contact information of constituents who disagree with you, probably not a good idea. So people engaging in hate or racism and things that are being reposted out with that. And don't, sharing content without understanding the source. So this was a congressman from Louisiana, see, I'm even doing this for my own state, so you know I'm being really impartial here, who accidentally reposted something that was from The Onion, so obviously did not check the source before posting something out that was untrue. Here is my contact information. I have 43 seconds left, so I'm really excited about that. I hope you will come ask me some questions, and I hope this was helpful. I am LinkedIn Queen on Twitter, and if you took any bad pictures and posted them, I will find you. So thank you so much.